It's time for a simple makeup tutorial. With makeup, one of the biggest things to keep in mind is that you need to start with sunscreen. You can use this, you can use this. My recommendation is make sure that it's mineral because chemical sunscreens are not very good for you. When putting on sunscreen, it's important to put it all over your face and not forget your neck because a ton of people will put it on all over their face and miss their neck, and it ends up aging their neck faster than their face. I'm not going to bother too much with base makeup as this is meant to be a simpler makeup look, so I'm just doing like a very small amount of concealer on my under eyes and a bit on my nose. When I'm doing these simpler looks, I also tend to just blend out with my fingers as a beauty blender might absorb the little amount of product that I put on. I'm also going to spot conceal a bit up here because I have a bit of a breakout right now, but those are normal. Everybody has those. Now I just put setting powder all over my face. You can use this one. I actually prefer to use cornstarch because it's a really good translucent powder and it's much more affordable. I just know some of y'all are going to be in my comments like, what are you doing using cornstarch? Why are you using cornstarch? That's not makeup. Yes, it is. Makeup is whatever you want it to be, you know? Suddenly realizing that I might actually have to do a part 2 to this, which I'm realizing now that I might actually have to do a part 2 to this. Also, by the way, whenever you put on concealer, make sure you wipe it off your lips. It'll give you a much more defined look. For doing my eyebrows, I actually really like using a brown eyeliner, but you can also just use a normal eyebrow pencil. The e.l.f. one works really well, and so does the Wet n Wild one, but I like a much more sharp and precise look, so I use this. That's pretty much most of it, and I basically just continue with tiny little like featherlight strokes until it looks decent. And obviously this sort of look isn't for everyone. I know not everyone wants a thin and sharp brow, and that's okay, but it's just what I like. And I just repeat this on the other side just by drawing and filling it in. For contour, sometimes I do use cream contour, and I'll do that before I set my makeup with powder. But when I'm in a rush or if I'm trying to do a easier or simpler look such as this one, I do tend to use the powder stuff because I find it much quicker. I try to keep it rather light when I'm doing contour because I don't want to, you know, make my skin look too dark at anywhere, and a lot of it just comes down to how you blend it rather than where you put it, basically. I like to put it in here, here, and here, and I usually actually skip the nose if I'm not doing cream contour. Sorry I have to do this, but go to part 2.